You know, when we think about game-changing inventions, our minds usually jump to the wheel, or maybe the printing press, or even the microchip. But what if I told you that the most important invention in human history, the one that literally made us who we are, was fire? Seriously, let's dive into the story of humanity's first, and maybe its greatest, technological leap, the mastery of fire.
To really get this, you have to try and put yourself back in time. Imagine a world without any artificial light. A world that is completely, totally ruled by the sun. Now picture this. The sun starts to set, the light fades, and your entire world, it just shrinks. It shrinks down to only what you can touch, what you can hear, what you can smell. The rest is just darkness. What would you do?
Well, for our earliest ancestors, this wasn't just some spooky thought experiment. It was their reality every single day. Life in the Paleolithic was, for all intents and purposes, a life lived in the dark.
And I'm not exaggerating here, when that sun went down, everything just stopped. All the important stuff, gathering food, making tools, even just talking with your group, it all had to be put on hold. The darkness was like a wall, a boundary you just did not cross, because it was way too dangerous. And what exactly was lurking out there in that darkness? Well, the night belonged to predators that would give us nightmares today. We're talking about things like massive cave lions, saber-toothed cats, and these giant wolves, get this, 40% larger than the ones we have now. The night was terrifying, and for early humans, we were definitely on the menu.
But then, something incredible happened. Humanity managed to capture a little piece of the sun and bring it down to Earth. Fire. This became our very first piece of real technology, the tool that finally let us push back against that endless night.
Now, this didn't happen overnight. It wasn't some single aha moment. This was a process that took over 1 million years. It all started way back, about 1.5 million years ago, with humans just taking advantage of natural fires, like from a lightning strike. It took until about 400,000 years ago for us to see the first real evidence of controlled hearths, and we only really mastered making fire ourselves in the last 120,000 years. Just think about that time scale. It's incredible.
So once we could control fire, we started innovating, right? We turned it into specific tools. And archaeologists have actually figured out there were 2 main ways we lit up the dark. First, you had torches. They gave off this great, bright, wide light, perfect for walking around in big open spaces like caves. But they were super smoky and would burn out in less than an hour. Then you had stone lamps. These were basically little bowls of animal fat with a wick. They were dimmer, but they produced almost no smoke and could burn for over an hour. They were ideal for living spaces, and, as we'll see, for doing some really intricate, detailed work.
Okay, so we've got this amazing new tech. What did it actually do for us? Well, it offered immediate, totally game-changing solutions to the biggest problems of just staying alive.
First, and this is the big one, safety. A simple campfire created this bubble of light and heat. It was like a fortress. It kept all those terrifying nocturnal predators away, turning a vulnerable campsite into a secure home base. It also meant you could actually move around in the dark, especially inside a dangerous cave, without, falling into a pit. Suddenly, the night wasn't quite so deadly.
And all that newfound safety meant we could expand. Humans were no longer stuck just at the entrances of caves or in warm climates. Now we could live deep inside caves where the temperature was stable. And, this is crucial, we could start migrating into the freezing cold northern climates during the Ice Age. Fire literally unlocked huge new chunks of the planet for us to live on. And maybe the most mind-blowing change of all, fire conquered time itself. For the very first time in our history, our lives were not completely dictated by when the sun rose and when it set. The workday was extended. After dark, we could suddenly make and fix our tools. We could plan for the next day's hunt. We could just be together, socialize. It completely changed the rhythm of human life.
But the story doesn't end there. The impact of fire goes so much deeper than just solving practical problems. It didn't just change what we could do, it fundamentally changed who we were. It changed us on a biological and social level. The secret ingredient here was cooking. Cooking food unlocked this incredible biological trade-off. See, cooked food is way easier to digest, so it gives you more energy for less work. Because of that, over time, we evolved to have smaller teeth and much shorter guts. Our guts actually shrank to just 62% of the size of our primate cousins. All that extra energy that we used to spend on digestion, well, it had to go somewhere, and it went right to our heads. It fueled a massive expansion of the human brain. We literally got smarter because we cooked our food.
And with bigger brains came bigger societies. The campfire became the very heart of the human community. It was our first living room. It was our first classroom. This is where stories were told, where skills were passed from one generation to the next, and where the complex social bonds that make us human were forged. You could say that culture, as we know it, was born in that warm, flickering glow.
And that new culture found its most beautiful expression deep, deep underground. Remember those little stone lamps? Well, that portable light allowed us to go places no human had ever been before, into the deepest, darkest, most hidden parts of caves. And there, on those silent rock walls, that flickering light gave birth to humanity's very first masterpieces of art.
So, you see, that ancient spark, the one we first timidly captured from a lightning strike, it has never really gone out. Its legacy is all around us. It's in our bodies, it's in our societies, it's in the way we see the world.
For 1.5 million years, that's how long our story and the story of fire have been tangled together. From just a simple tool to help us survive the night to the engine of our entire civilization, it has been right there with us, our constant companion on this wild evolutionary journey.
It really is amazing to think about. It all started with just one spark, and with it, we conquered the dark, we remade the planet, and we even remade ourselves. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? As we stand here, surrounded by all of our incredible modern technologies, what will be our last great invention? What will be the thing that changes us that completely ever again?